tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja. Kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
Hello there, this is Farm Kenya show right here on KTN, and today we'll be looking at plantain banana type of farming. We'll be looking at what makes it stand out in the market and on the farm as well. My name is Kelvin Nyakundi. We'll be speaking to Gabriel Kimani, who is a young farmer who is dealing in plantain banana type of farming. Join us as we get right into this. Right, thank you so much for joining us today. Now, let's get right into the conversation and look at plantain type of farming. Of course, this is not a popular type of farming in our region in Kenya, but some farmers are doing it. So first of all, when it comes to plantain type of farming, what do you look at in terms of land preparation, and how do you make sure that your land is ready to receive the maybe seedlings or to receive that for plantation?
Before you even think of land preparations and all that, number one thing, where to source your material for planting. So in Kenya we have different sources of plantains. You can go for Jaikwat, you can go to Karo, they have them. But for us, most of our plantains, we get them from Jaikwat. They have a genuine and a trusted variety that we normally now plant and give us good results. So in the preparation of the farm, number one thing that you as the farmer, you need to have is manure, a well-decomposed manure. It may be goat manure, maybe be cow manure, maybe be chicken manure, but it must be well decomposed. So from there now you go down to the farm, whereby you get your pits done. You have the 2 meters by 2 feet by 2 feet hole that you will come and induce your small plantain. But before that, you get to dig that hole, and then you mix the topsoil with your manure very well, and then you unairudisha kwenye ile shimo, and then from there you mix it very well, and then it's ready for receiving the young plant. So you can plant actually a tissue cultured plantain part of it, or else you can come to the suckers part. You can remove suckers from the old plantains, and then you can use the suckers as a young seedlings, and then you can transfer it. But when you're doing that on suckers, you need to check the suckers that you're using. Not all the suckers that will be able to make it to be used as a planting material. Some suckers, they are young, some have deficiencies, some have stunted growth. But at the base of that cluster of bananas, you have the smallest and the good ones that are well healthy. That is the suckers that you need to use when you're doing your transplanting, or you're planting your orchard for plantains. So with that, with number one, you need to get that suckers, good suckers that will perform, and then you need to have manure, and then you need to have your land prepared, those holes being dug very well, and soil being mixed with manure, and then from there it's just water. Okay. So bananas, they don't have really much to be done on them. So you just need to keep on irrigating that small hole, and then with time you just be backfilling the soil. Okay. And then later on now it distributes, it removes other suckers around it, and then now you just need to maintain them. You need like 2 or 3 that will be growing at different stages. You need to have a mature one and a small one, and then a younger one, very young one, that is actually coming out of the ground. So you need to have in one hole, you need like 3. The mother, and let's say a daughter, and a young daughter, or maybe a grandma, a mother, and a granddaughter.
Okay. Yeah. Before you even continue, I will get to the grandmother, the daughter, those ones that you've mentioned. But now, the spacing between one plant and the other, because I believe they're growing you see, like the space that we are in, you find that they're growing on the same space, but very many of the ones that you've mentioned. So when you look at the spacing, what goes into the spacing, and how do you plan how you're going to space from one plant to the other, even before you get now to this, the grandmother and the mother and the sister? Yes.
Whatever now we do, once you have your project on mind, when you come to the ground, number one thing that you need to have is well-spaced those from one plant to another, or from one stem to the other. They need to be well-spaced. So that spacing, normally we give it 2 meters by 3 meters, or you can actually do 2 meters by 2 meters. Remember, bananas, they don't occupy a very large space.
Yes.
You just need that space where it is occupied, and probably some small space, 2 or 3 meters, that now the leaves will cover, so that they don't form a very huge canopy at the top. So you need somewhere now the light can allow them. They can be able to penetrate on ground. So when it comes to plantains and spacings, spacing your plantain when you're planting it, you need to have probably 2 meters by 2 meters, or 2 meters by 2 meters from one to the other one. And from one line to the other one, 2 meters is enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's get into this. The acronyms that you gave, the is it the seeds? Yes.
The suckers.
The suckers.
Yeah.
The grandmother, the sister. So what informs you of that, and how do you know that this is what is going to bring out the best yield?
Now, when once you have done your holes and you have planted your suckers, they normally take very less time. Within 8 to 10 months, you find some are even now producing fruits, now the banana itself. So when you are choosing now the right suckers to plant, you don't need to go for the one that is up there that is maturing. You need the smallest one that is still young, something that will be able, even if you transfer it from the mother part, it will be able to adapt the new area that you have transferred it to. So now when it comes to the matters of choosing the right mother that needs to be transplanted, you need that small one. That's the very small one, that is the one that you need. About probably 1 foot or 2 foot, that one is good. That one is ideal for transplanting to the newer field. Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you look at the process of planting, and now the whole process of this particular banana growing and even up to maturity, from where you stand and from your experience, when you look at the time, how long is that, and what does a farmer do between the time of planting and the time of harvest, before even harvesting, maturity? How does that look, and what is the period? Now,
you normally find that once you do the planting of plantains, they normally go a very big months. You find from 8 months to 10 months, you'll find that plantains, they will be now be fruiting. But in between, there are a lot of activities that need to be done. Number one is irrigation. Remember, if you are in a hot area, we are lucky that we are in a cold conditioned area. But somebody who is out there in a dry place needs to keep on irrigating the young suckers that we have planted. There are others who are opting to do baton irrigation. There are others who normally just do a bucket of water every day, or after every 1 week they do a bucket of water. So apart from now irrigation, there are now the routine practices that comes in. That is weeding. You need to keep your farm much more neat, and also regulating the numbers of suckers that are coming from that hole. You might have seen, probably you might have seen farmers out there. When you get to their farms, you find at that one hole of that one set of that plantain, he has like 4 or 5 or 6 or even 10, simply because he didn't regulate the number of suckers that will be there. These ones affects the production at the end of the day. You find that probably your plantains will get a chance to maturity But when it comes to the part of fruiting, you find the fruit part, the banana itself, once it's now imetoka, unapata ni kadogo. You see, you find that it's too small, simply because they are competing for nutrients in that hole. So whatever now we do, we normally regulate the numbers. That's where now the issue of grandma, the mother, and the daughter comes in. So you need to have 3 stages. A mature one, and another one which is will mature in probably in a month's time or 2. And then you need another one which is around 3 months. And probably you can have a small one, which is like a month. So in that one hole, you need like 4 of them. One that is matured, another one which is almost to mature, and a middle-sized edge plantain, and then a small one, a very small one. So at any given point, you'll be having a fruit in that one cluster. So when you have that a cluster like this, you know, like you can see now here, you have these 4 of them, and then we have one which is not yet. So this one actually is kept for the next season. So after we harvest these other ones, this one now is the next that we produce. And then there is that, which one now, later at the end of the day, that one will mature up and keep us now in a consistent harvest. Okay. But then when you leave them at that point, they will just sprout. Remember, bananas normally remove a lot of suckers on the ground. So they will just keep on shooting, keep on sprouting every day. So there will be a lot of nutrient competition in that one small portion. So you need to regulate them so that they give you a good plantain. Probably you have come across a plantain in the market which has 2 branches. 2. And then you find there is another customer who has like a full plantain which has like 10 of them. So you wonder, how did it go that this one got 2 branches in the same and the other one got 10? So it's all about goes down to the numbers of the stocks on that hole. So you need to regulate them so that they can give you a good produce, at the same time maintain your quality.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very well explained. Now, the stages of growth. What are some of the most important, especially in the stages of growth, the stages that a farmer needs to really focus on for them now to have a good yield at the end of the day? Because as you've mentioned, sometimes the harvest, you find that this one has a different, they have different, the 2 branches, others has, you said 10, So the stages of growth of plantain, what are the most important stages that a farmer needs to look at?
Number 1 stage that every farmer needs to note is the preparation at the onset. At the onset, when you're doing your run preparation before you even plant them. Remember, bananas, it's not something like cabbage. Cabbage will be on the farm for 3 months. Bananas will be on the farm for years. So your preparation back on the pit that we are planting our suckers really matters a lot. Because once you find most of the farmers normally do the pit and then no manure, no anything, just the soil, the topsoil, and then they mix it and plant their plantain. But with time, you find that the plantains, with time, they normally now produce very young fruits. So on the preparation, back on the preparation, that is where now you need to ensure that everything is in line. You find that if it's manure, it was well manure. If it's the ratios, there are ratios which now comes in. If you're mixing something like goat manure and cow manure or chicken manure, there is a ratio that goes in. That now you need to have a ratio of probably 2 buckets of goat manure or a bucket of chicken manure, and then you mix it. And then you add it on the ground. You mix very well with the topsoil, and then you induce your suckers in there. So that is where every concentration should be. Remember, from there, now your suckers will be able to develop roots so that now it can absorb nutrients from the around that pit. And then from there, the other now critical stage is when now the bananas are growing. When that's what we have just said, you need to regulate them. so that your fruiting stage, you get a good fruit. Also with time, remember it's not only the ile manure yenye uliweka ukianza. You need to keep on adding. You need to fill that hole. So with time, maybe you have got organic matter and you have got manure. You need to come on filling that hole so that at least you get to supply nutrients every now and then to the plant, so that at the end of maturity part, you will get a good plantain and a good sizable plantain. Yeah.
All right. So, as you mentioned about the manure, let us look at water. So, as a plantain farmer, do you rely on rainfall or is there irrigation? How does that go about?
In our case here, we rely majorly on rainfall. But there are new sections whereby now we are establishing whereby we'll be having the button irrigation, especially when we have just transplanted our plantains. We'll now be having button irrigations on them, so that we keep on irrigating every now and then. After every 1 week, we give them water. Remember, mandizi si kama mboga, itahitaji maji every day.
Yes.
Mandizi normally consumes less than probably 50 liters in a week, and it will be able to sustain it for a week or two. So in irrigation, when it comes to irrigations, somebody who doesn't now have a drip irrigation setup, you can use buckets. When we were planting our bananas, we used to add water with buckets. But nowadays, you find that they are mature. Most of them they don't need a lot of water, and now there is a lot of rains. There is a lot of rains that normally keep on coming every now and then. So here we don't have a challenge of water.
Okay.
But in case you as a farmer, you want to do plantains on your area, you might, and the area doesn't have a lot of rainfall, you may consider button irrigation, which now comes with more efficiency, that you don't need to keep on going there with a bucket to irrigate. You just need to open a valve and then the whole system gets water.
All right. So on the soil quality, what soil quality gives you the best result at the end of the day when you look at this type of farming?
Number one thing, when it comes to soil, and even before you plant the plantains, we normally recommend a soil analysis. Remember, for any plant to thrive very well, it must thrive on a very good pH. That is, now knowing your pH goes down to the soil analysis. Whereby now, at least you will get to know every single micronutrient, maybe the major nutrients that any plant needs, and the macronutrients. Those are the microelements that any plant needs to grow, whether they are there. So with the soil analysis, you are able to know all these microelements are there. If they are not there, there are things that like fertilizers now which you can add. But something like carbon, there are farmers who normally have their soils, they have low acidity. Their soils probably they have a higher alkalinity on them. For these plantains to thrive well, we find that on a pH of 5.5 to around 6.5, around neutral, there you'll find that plantains will thrive very well with ease without any complications. But on a bad soil, you'll find that probably you planted very good variety, very good suckers, but you find they have a stunted growth. So before you even venture into this field of plantains, you need to have your soil tested, so that at least you get to know the nutrients that are there, or even you get to know the soil-borne diseases that are on the ground. Because normally, most of our soils are so much affected by soil-borne diseases. You find that there are fusarium, there are wilt in them. So these ones affects bananas with time. So you find that your production at the end of the day goes down. Yeah.
And you've mentioned about pests, the diseases, of course, and the pests. So when you look at the diseases and pests, what are the common ones that usually affect this type of a plant?
Normally, on bananas, the number one bigger disease that we normally get on either on plantains, either on the other kind of varieties of bananas, we have cigar and rot, which normally affects the fruits. The fruit, you find that once the fruit are almost maturing, you find they start rotting at the end. They start rotting at the end. So this is normally caused by the soil-borne diseases on the ground. So, and that is why I've said before you even establish a plantain orchard in your farm, you need to know the kind of soil that you're in, whether it has these soil-borne diseases, so that these kinds of cigar and rot things, they may not affect your production. Because normally you find that most farmers, they may win on the suckers, they may win on the growth part.
Yes.
But when it comes to the production part, you find their bananas are mostly affected by that cigar and rot, which can only be controlled by knowing the soil, how it is, right before starting. Once you know what the soil has, you are able, there are recommendations that come with soil analysis.
Okay.
At least you'll be able to know, this is my problem, and I'll be able to handle it in this manner. And then you can be having, they always have a recommendation that you can follow to realign your farm to a better production farm.
Right, so we've heard about plantain type of farming. We see it in the shops and in different types of markets, but we don't really get to understand how they are grown. And today we have gotten the nitty-gritties from Mr. Kimani himself, giving us what we need to do as farmers. We're going to go for a short break, but when we come back, we're going to be looking at banana type of farming, the how-tos for that, and how you as a farmer at the end of the day can come out with a better yield. Don't go too far. All right, welcome back. And today in Farm Kenya, we are looking at banana and plantain type of farming. And right now, we're going to be looking at banana type of farming. And we are here with Mr. Kimani himself. Thank you so much for still sticking with us to give us the insights about banana type of farming. So let's get right into it. Now, when it comes to banana type of farming, because before we went for break, we were speaking about plantain. Now, let's look at banana. When it comes to banana type of farming, how do you compare it with plantain, or do they take the same form of farming?
Good. And whatever I can say, when we base ourselves on plantain and these other varieties like granite, like these tissue cultured bananas, you normally find that plantain has its own market. And these other ones have their own market. Our local varieties, normally, they don't source as good money when it comes to production like the plantains. Nowadays, the plantains, you find them, everybody is asking about plantains. Why? Simply because they are easier to cook. And you can either eat them when they are ripe, or you can even deep fry them, so that at least you can make anything that you need out of them. And then we have now the value addition part. Most of the farmers, they are going the value addition way. Remember, in Kitambo, we used to have those ladies who used to come to the farm to source for these bananas for market. But with time, people have realized these old bananas that we have been doing them locally, they are not performing as well. When it comes to even their production, it's not as good as that of plantain. So most of us farmers who now we have plantains, we're opting to do more plantains rather than the local varieties. So I can say plantains, where we are going, the market is big. Even us, we can't even hatuwezi tosheleza hiyo soko.
Okay.
Because most of the people, most of the farmers out there, restaurants, maybe local markets, they need the plantain. So I can urge you as the farmers back at home, if you feel you have a space, you can do your small portion for plantains. And I guarantee you the harvest will be good. And even the sourcing of the prices, normally source very good prices.
Okay. Now, let's look at the banana now. The banana type of farming and how, because the way you've said plantain is coming into the market, everyone is these days looking for plantain. But now, when you look at now the banana, the effect that this has on the banana as a crop, as a staple in some people's homes and in different cultures that we have in the country, how does this affect the now penetration of banana in different types of maybe say areas within the country?
Great. Whatever now you have, you find that plantain, they are not majorly done in most of our places. So you'll find that even when you go to the market, plantains are not many. Unlike now the part of now our local bananas. Our local bananas, remember, it's not us here in Murang'a who are producing the local varieties. We have different. And then these bananas now, they come from, they come in different sections. Thereby you find there are bananas which are good for cooking. There are others which are good for now ripe bananas. And there are others which are now like the plantains, which are good for now deep frying and all that. So plantain, when it comes to penetration in the market, right now it's actually more better than there a time back. A time back we had a challenge whereby not so many people were able to acknowledge the plantain. But right now we have people are even consuming, even here in homes. You find now that most of the farmers are doing away with these local varieties. Although they still have their own market, which is very good and very good, big actually. So you find that plantain is now entering the market smoothly with ease, without any farmer struggling. Kitambo, we had now plantains ingeharibikia hata kwa shamba, because not so many people got to know what is a plantain.
Okay. And
a variety now that we normally have. But with time, plantain is actually being now, it is on the market.
Okay.
If you check in some markets, in supermarkets, you will see them. And actually, they are good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Now, on the local varieties, the way you've spoken and said about the bananas that you have, as everyone else is looking at this new venture that has come, how does this now affect this local types of varieties that you have, the bananas that you have? Because I mean, you have a very huge farm that has bananas. So when plantain is coming into the market, you as a banana farmer, how does this affect your yields at the end of the day? Do they sell as much as they maybe they're supposed to, or they were supposed to? How does this affect you as a banana farmer?
No, whatever you find that when plantains came to the market, the pricing that our local varieties were sourcing, Kitambo, you could find a very huge tissue cultured banana sourcing like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 shillings. Today, the same varieties with even very huge tonnage, kgs. You find a banana probably is around 50, 60 kgs. But you find it's sourcing very low amount of money. But you have a plantain which is only like 10 kilos, and you find sourcing the same money or maybe a higher amount than our local varieties. So we can say plantain, when it comes to management of these orchards and all that, plantain is actually taking more space. More space, because me as a farmer, I will not sit down and wait for my brokers to come and tell me like these local varieties, I will give you 500 shillings for a 60 kg bunch. You see? For a 60 kg, you give me 500. Whereas I can still get a 10 kilo and source 3,000 shillings from it. because most of the plantains are normally sold in pieces. A single piece, you'll get it at around 50 shillings in the local vendors. 50 shillings or two, probably 50 shillings. But a single banana, the local variety, you'll get even one. A ripe one, you'll get it at 5 shillings, 10 shillings. But these other ones, you'll get plantains, you'll get 50, 60, depending on where you get it from. If you get it from supermarket, then the prices are much better.
Okay.
If you get it on the Mama Mboga's press, then a little bit prices are a little bit smaller than those of supermarket. But we can say plantains in the long run, they still fetch good amount of
Than the bananas.
than the local ones.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't compare them. You
Okay.
can't compare the plantain and the local varieties. But kitambo, the local variety now used to do well,
Sell more.
and sell more than the plantain. But now it's the other way around.
Okay. And now, now that we've seen the advantages of plantain and everything else, now let's look at value addition in banana and how that compares to plantain. When you look at value addition in banana, because banana, you have all these other things that are coming from the banana. Now, when it comes to plantain, how do you compare the both of them, especially with their advantages in the market?
Good. In plantain, you find that when it comes to value addition, actually not many people who are doing the value addition of a local variety. You find most of them, they want to do dried plantains. They want to do dried powdered plantain, and they package it. And once you do a value addition on plantains, even the market now absorbs it very well, and even on a different pricing. If a plantain could have sourced 2,000 shillings, a full bunch of it, then when you value add it, probably you'll get like 3,000 or 4,000 out of it. But now on the value addition part, you need more. You need more, so that now at least when it comes to packaging or even that drying, it can be, now you have numbers to do that. But with the other varieties, I have not come across any local variety that has been done a value addition. But I've seen several powdered form plantains. I've seen several deep fried plantain crisps, the normal crisps for plantains. We have now even hotels. They're actually taking plantains very well for deep frying. And even local homes, it's normally very, very, very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So let's look at banana in the farm, because now we've spoken about value addition, banana in the farm, and what is the very peculiar thing that shows you this is a banana different from a plantain? Because now we've looked at plantain in the farm and how it's taken care of and everything else. Now, when it comes to the banana, for how long does it mature? What really shows you that this is the banana and it sets it apart from this other one?
Number one, even if you cross your eyes and somebody comes here and tells you to differentiate between a local variety of banana and a plantain, definitely you will see the difference. They are very different. They're very different. Even from if you keep if you see them from far, you'll be able to note these are plantain and these are local variety. Plantain, they are a bit stronger than the local varieties. Huku kwetu plantains actually tunazitanga monjo. Monjo ama bow. In local words, we normally call them bow ama monjo. So you find easy plantains, they are quite slender kidogo, lakini wako very good size. And then the normal ones, zile mandizi zetu kienyeji, hizo tunazijua ni tudogo. Most of them kama ni size kama ya mkono hivyo. But you'll get plantains which are a bit stronger. And now unapata hata mandizi yenyewe ni mandizi imejaza vizuri. So to differentiate plantain na local variety, it's very easy. Somebody can come here and be able to say these are local variety. And somebody else comes here and sees a plantain, and he'll be able to say that one is a plantain. Yeah, because plantains, this tissue cultured bananas, they are totally different. Like the Grand Nine and the easy plantain ni tofauti kabisa. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. And now, still on the comparison, because many people usually confuse. I believe someone might not know, because someone might say, okay, the fried plantain is a banana that has not matured. So when a plantain is mature and a banana is mature, what are the characteristics that they have? Do they have the same color? Do they have the same kind of size? You can also give us a little bit about that.
Great. When it comes to maturity of plantains, plantains will mature very fast. Number one, plantains, it's not like these local varieties. Plantains normally matures in very short time. Within
How long are we talking about?
8 months to 12 months, you have already ready plantain. So, and when they ripen, if you really want to know mtu amekupikia plantain or a local variety, if today you go and deep fry a local variety, yes, itatoka ikiwa very good fried, but it doesn't taste the same. It doesn't taste the same as plantain. And also the color. That dark golden color that you get when you deep fry plantain, it's not the same
as the banana,
as the local ones. They totally have different colors ziki who are deep fried. So you as the farmer, or you as the person who is visiting that restaurant or that hotel back at in the village or in town, you find that hizi plantains once zikiiva, na plantain hauwezi deep fry kama haijaiva. Once it ripens, that is the best time to fly it. But ikiwa kama haijaanza kuturn, it can't. Haiwezi, hata inakuwa ngumu sana ku deep fly. So it must, first of all, it ripens and then you get to deep fly it. Yeah. So it's kuna difference kubwa sana ya a local variety na plantain when it comes to deep fly.
Okay.
Now even the colors you'll tell. Yeah.
Right. And now, when you look at the harvesting period up to the time they get to the market, the handling of this of the banana, the local variety, and also the plantain, how do you make sure that the way you've harvested it, it's how it's going to get into the market? Because I believe for you, you usually have a way of transporting it to the market, because many of our produce, almost 40% of our produce usually gets spoiled after harvesting. So how do you make sure that every variety that you want to get to the market gets there?
Nice. Once our plantains are mature, what we normally do, when there is a certain stage, those bananas they will reach, and then you'll get to know that hii imekomaa vizuri. Ni kama avocado kuna zingine zina turn from green to kama purplish hivi, that kind of a thing. So even plantains, they will start kamoja kataanza kuiva ama tuili, and then you just note that it's ready for market. So hiyo moja yenye tumekata ama iko na moja yenye iko karibu kuiva, we don't transport them when they are fully ripe. So once tumeitoa kwa mgomba, ni kuikata na kuipeleka probably in the store, whereby they will stay for a day, and then the following day they go to the market, or even we harvest them direct to the truck, direct to the market, so that there is minimal post-harvest losses. I've seen many farmers losing their bananas on the way, probably because he harvested the bananas few days to ripen, or probably he has transported them while they are ripe. And even when they are ripe, they have a way, the guys in the market, they have a way of transporting them, so that zikifika hazijafinyika. And that's why you find that most plantains wakati unazipata pale sokoni in the supermarkets, you find that plantains, they are always good, simply because ilivunwa and then ikaenda kuivia kwa store just next to where it will be sold. So ni kuchukua tu na kupeleka sokoni kiiva. You find that even these mama mbogas who normally come for them, or even these market vendors who normally come for them here in the farm, wanachukua kama bado iko mbichi and then wanaenda kuivisha ikifika in the market. Yeah.
All right. Now, even as we now are edging closer to conclude this particular conversation, when you look at this type of farming going forward, plantain, this local variety, going forward, when it comes to, in terms of growth of this market, because you've told us, plantain is very, is now sort of getting into the market and pushing this one away in some areas, and maybe the big towns, the people usually like experiencing new things. So this market, as it continues to go further and grow, what are you looking at as a farmer who sells local variety as well? So what are you planning to do in terms of local variety and also plantain?
Now, number one thing that we as farmers we are doing here in the ground, hatuwezi tupa ile ya kitambo. So number one thing, whatever we have done, we have really reduced our local varieties, so that now we can bring in more plantains. So here in the farm, you find that the local variety inaenda ikiisha polepole with time. Yes, we'll be having a certain blocks which will be having pure local varieties, simply because they normally also, with season, they normally have different prices. And then also, these varieties, you can also do more things with them. Mesikia kuna zenye zinaiva za kukula, there's ripe bananas, kuna zenye zinapikwa. Plantain, you can't cook it, but you can deep fry it. So, hauwezi maliza zote in the farm. There is one of vendors in the market who will come looking for that indigenous variety, simply because his market needs it for probably the ladies who are doing wanapika, probably mtu mwingine anataka kwenda kuivisha hivyo. So you find that in the farm set up like this, you'll find that their plantains, the number of plantains is bigger, but the number of the local varieties keep on depreciating every now and then. But with time, probably, God willing, we'll be having now a block which has pure, if it's a Grand 9, it's Grand 9. If it's a plantain, it will be pure plantain. Yeah.
All right. Now, as we conclude, this is the last minutes of this particular conversation. As a young person who's doing this and who's engaging with different suppliers, who's engaging with the different clients who are coming and saying, okay, this is what we need, this is what we need, would you encourage a farmer out there who's doing the local varieties that we have in the country to continue doing that? And is it a point of agribusiness that you can say is going to bring in better yields at the end of the day, even without touching on the plantain?
Nice. When it comes to my advice to that local farmer who is watching us back at home, what I can advise is when as you keep on doing the local varieties, try and adjust. You don't need 10 acres to start. You need 2, 3, 4 stems in the farm, and then from there you can multiply them. I remember we didn't start with we never started with 10,000 of them, or even 10 acres, or how many big acreage. We started with a few, simply because we wanted to test, first of all, whether it works well with us. Remember, some other regions, plantains, they don't do well. You see, probably the region is too hot. Plantains don't need that too hot area. So you find that plantains will be better on a cool area. So I can urge that one farmer back at home. If you have a space, probably you need to keep now introducing plantain to your farm, simply because hata kama you will not get a huge market out there, you as the family. Remember, I normally tell farmers, unapatanga mkulima ameuza yote mpaka yeye mwenyewe anajisahau. It starts from home, from the farm. You as a farmer start consuming them. Once you get to enjoy the taste of plantains umekuza wewe mwenyewe, natural enough, because our bananas, they don't have any spray. It's only that manure that was added down there and water, and then the God's blessings, now they are rains and all that. So they are fresh, very organic, no sprays, no chemicals. Once you enjoy that from the farm, and then now you can try commercialize it with time. Because me, I've seen good numbers when it comes to plantain production. You can commercialize it with time, and then you can now do away with the local varieties that probably they are not giving you good production. If your farm is not giving you good production, then you need to change even the system. Come to the plantain side. Also have a few of them. Don't try on a bigger scale. Try it on a small scale, then you can expand. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Gabriel Kimani, right there, giving us what we need to do and what you need to do at home in order for you to get a little plantain on that farm. Choose a corner there so that you may put it there. Right, we've come to the end of this particular conversation today. My name is Kelvin Nyakundi. Let's meet next time right here on Farm Kenya.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue